All right, good morning. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Identifying that Mayor Deck is away for medical reasons and Deputy Mayor Sandal is away for council business. Do I have any additions or adjustments to the agenda?
Just like to add one item to closed session.
Okay,
Don't we need an explanation of it?
Yes.
It's just a letter from the mayor.
Councillor Barry?
And I'd like to delete one item. It is 912.
It's which one?
912.
Councillor Barry? Harris?
You know what, I noticed that the budget variance report is not, it was supposed to be, it was tabled from last meeting to be put on this meeting, and it's not on here.
If I could, that's administration oversight. I was unaware of that.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Yeah. Sorry, Councillor Eustace, Mayor, Mrs. Council, Councillor Harris, is that administration oversight, we can make sure that we have it on the 23rd with the auditor as well.
Okay. Sure.
All right. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda as amended?
I'll make that motion.
Councillor Barry? All in favor? All right. Can I get a motion to adopt the minutes of previous meeting? Councillor Monte,
I'll put forward the motion.
any questions? Councillor Harris?
Thank you. I noticed that in the minutes, it indicated that the CAO and the mayor were absent from the last meeting because they were meeting with the Minister of Municipal Affairs. The thing that I would like a little explanation on is, I went back and I watched the video of that meeting, and there was no indication that they were at any type of meeting with the Minister of Municipal Affairs. So if it wasn't stated in the meeting, how is it in the minutes?
Councillor Eustace, members of council, Councillor Harris is, I wasn't here at that meeting, so, you know, I wouldn't be able to attest what was said.
I'm sorry?
It said I was not here at that meeting, so I can't attest to what was said and what went into the minutes.
Okay.
So Eric,
Councillor Eustace, members of council, at that meeting, the meeting for that was supposed to be that day, and it was canceled. So there was a misinterpretation on that.
so if I could, I think what the correction is that if it wasn't mentioned in the meeting, if you went back, then it can't be listed in the minutes. Right. I think that's the point.
Yeah, I'd also like to know if, so you and the mayor did not attend a meeting with the minister on that day?
No, that meeting was canceled.
Okay, then where were you?
Is that the administration found out actually on the way to the meeting. So I was actually in the city.
Have you had a meeting since?
We'll talk about that. We have that on the agenda.
Okay, so we can delete that, notation in the minutes then.
Just the notation as to why they were gone.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, any other questions? All right, can I get a motion to, oh no, we've already made the motion. All in favor? All right. Finance, accounts paid as of October 4th. Can I get a motion to accept those?
I'll make the motion.
Councillor Kozak, any questions? Councillor Harris?
Thank you. I noticed that I went through them, when I was going through them, I noticed that check number 87 was missing. Goes 86, 88, first page.
Counselor Harris, I'll have to go back and look. It could be because that check was canceled, but I'd have to go back and confirm that.
Okay. Will you report back at the next meeting then?
Yes.
Yes, I can do that.
All right. I have other questions, but if I will.
Okay, Counselor Barry?
I had two, but I can't, I had two, but give me a second to find them.
Counselor Harris, do we want to continue with your next one then?
Yeah, certainly do. First page, about halfway down, Brownlee LLP, these are legal fees. The one that is noted for lease issues with the GMHL, I assume that's the Pioneers hockey team. The total is almost $4,000. Can we get a little bit of an explanation as to what is happening with that, seeing as it's noted?
If I can, Councillor Yushish and members of council, Councillor Harris, is that actually is in legal matters right now, so there's not much explanation we can give until we have some resolution from that, from our, and direction from our legal. Is obviously there is some, if we cancel the lease to move that forward, do some breach of clauses within the lease, and that's where it's at, and that's the best I can relate right now.
Okay, well, this charge was as of the 12th of September, and there's been no follow-up, as far as I understand, with, unless the rest of council have been briefed, and I haven't.
No, actually, nobody else has been briefed. It's where it's at, and it's sitting with lawyers right now. That's where it's at.
Okay, when will we get a report on that?
As soon as we have some new update information to provide to council. As I do have.
Can I have a date, please?
Actually, once we hear back from our lawyer and what the direction on that, so administration will provide a more accurate date as soon as possible.
Can I request that this be followed up at the next meeting?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'd like that noted.
Yeah.
Counselor Barry, you found him?
My questions are curiosity questions. On page 3, just let me find it here again. About 2/3 of the way down, Raiders Site Services, concrete something, $89,258.56. Where is that concrete work taking place?
Councilor Yushish, members of council, Councilor Barry, that is our sidewalk repair program we do every year, so it's sidewalks throughout the entire town.
Okay.
That's
thank
the
you.
Raiders contractor that had it this year.
Okay, thank you. The second one, the word divers caught my attention. Again, let me find it.
Oh, under, if I may,
Yes.
I believe, 202426606, North Fringe Industrial Technologies divers to install new. Curtis.
Good morning,
Yes.
Councilor Yusishin, rest of council, Councilor Barry. The divers on that one, we do have on our force main, we did have issues with the orifice plate that was currently installed. We have contracted out divers to help with the confined space, the toxic environment there, to go in, we drain the manhole and actually install a new orifice plate that has been working to date now. So that's what that one is for there.
So the guys went down into the sewer. Lovely, okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Counselor Harris?
First page, under the visa charges, I would just like to know why there was a charge by one of the counselors for dry cleaning.
Councillor Yushish and members of council, Councillor Harris, is actually in the council remuneration policy. There's the ability to have a, I believe, if I'm just looking at the wording correctly, for incidentals, and dry cleaning is actually, especially if it's for a suit or something that was worn to an event that was as part of council, that could be considered an incidental charge.
Is that, I've noticed a couple of charges like that throughout the years. Is that the same as the clothing allowance of $500? That type of thing?
It's actually just built into the policy for incidentals that are incurred while you're doing, dispensing your role as a counselor.
And so how much does each counselor have allotted to them for incidentals?
I believe when you're away, it's actually has a pretty charge, I believe it's $35, right offhand.
No, in total.
It depends on the number of days that you're away.
No, there has to be is there not a
What we can do, as administration can do, is actually just present and, and bring back the remuneration policy, so that way all members can see it.
okay, can we have that followed up with as well
Yep.
for the next meeting,
Yep.
please? I have one more question if nobody else does. I asked this, the previous meeting that you were away, Mr. O'Malley. I noticed that Trinus were, writing checks to them for almost $10,000 a month. And that's gone up almost, it was just over 3,000, I would say a year ago. Can I have an explanation for that, please, as well?
Yes, Councillor Yushish and members of council, Councillor Harris, actually, Trinus is our IT company that actually was dispensing services to all of our departments, but they were only done on an as-called basis. And also, we had no, at that time, any type of ransomware program or any type of spamware coverage in relation to our system, but also, so now, also all of our software is instead of unit, it actually goes to a renewal and license registration. So they maintain all of our machines, all of our spamware, all of our ransomware, any of that type of stuff, and all of our software licensing under one fee. And so that's charged as an overall organization with that.
So that's to the tune of 60, 70 grand extra a year?
I believe that is approximately that amount. In fact, I believe it actually may be just over 80.
Wow, okay. Is there any way that we can get a copy of that contract? For them?
Actually, in relation to that is, unless it's actually deemed to be necessary for you to do your job, we have a responsibility. We bring it back to council as that. And so if members of council or any of the public would like to do a FOIP request on that agreement, they can certainly do so.
I think
What
that.
we can do, instead of bringing the contract, we can certainly bring the terms of reference and deliver
no.
them specifically.
No, I would
Okay,
like to see the
then-
contract, and frankly, section 153 of the MGA indicates that counselors are entitled to have information like this,
Yeah, actually.
as far as I interpret it.
Yeah, in fact, is what administration can do is send you the copy as directed from our legal counsel. Talks about counsels that, is available to get information that is definitely directly prudent to their jobs, not as an operational matter. And at that point in time, I can provide that where there's.
I think that an extra $70,000 a year certainly constitutes an operational matter.
Okay, Councillor Harris, I believe he's answered your question.
Okay, so can you just reiterate what you're going to provide to council, Mr. O'Malley?
A copy of the terms of reference that they give the services there to deliver.
I'll accept that for now.
All right, any other questions?
Call the question.
All right, can I get them, all in favor? We've already had the motion. All in favor of accepting the finance report? All right, Fortis franchise fee.
Tara?
Good morning, Councilor Yusishin and members of council. So the purpose of this report is to respectfully request that council consider that for the Fortis Alberta franchise fee that it collects each year on the town's behalf. The current Fortis Alberta franchise fee is set at 10%. However, the fee can be adjusted annually up to a cap of 20%. We would like to keep it at 10%, so we're asking that council maintain the Fortis franchise fee at 10% for the 2025 year.
Councillor Berry?
I'd like to move that council maintain the Fortis franchise fee at 10% for 2025.
Any questions? Councillor Harris?
Yeah, just considering we have an audience these days, both in person and online, can we have just a refresher explanation of what the franchise fee is so that people know? I've been asked that before, so.
Okay, actually, Councillor Eustachian, members of council, Councillor Harris, actually, the franchise fees is done in lieu of the taxes that are paid for where they run their lines along the rights of way. And so that's in lieu of it. And so what they did is versus just a property owners having to pay, it gets extended on your utility bill as a franchise fee. So even if you're renting, there's a fee of that based on your commodity, or basically the volume you use.
And
That's in lieu of tax.
yeah, if I understand correctly, every municipality has this.
Yes.
This is, okay.
Yes, you're absolutely true.
Good, thank you.
All right, all in favor? ATCO franchise fee.
Good morning, council. So the purpose of this report is to respectfully request that council considers the ATCO gas franchise fee that it collects each year on the town's behalf. The current ATCO gas franchise fee is set at 30%. However, the fee can be adjusted annually up to a cap of 35%. Administration would like to respectfully request that council consider the following recommendation. That council maintain the ATCO gas franchise fee at 30% for 2025.
Get a motion? Councillor Ray?
I'd like to move that council maintain the ATCO gas franchise fee at 30% for 2025.
And any questions? All in favor? All right, 9.1, food cycler.
Councillor Eustachian, members of council, at the previous meeting, as I believe council entertained a presentation from an individual with the food cycling organization, Mr. Jacob Hanlon from Food Cycle Science. And at that time, he talked about food recycling machines that could be made to the citizens of Gibbons in relation to composting their kitchen waste and food waste and such like that, and being able to reduce the amount of landfill that goes in there and the costs associated with it. As part of that is a pilot project, and looked at, the purchase of 50 units that would be made available to citizens on a very reduced rate as a payment to them. In basically the two different sizes talked about, one that would actually end up being a cost of $150 to the resident from original base cost of about $500. And then there's an elevated level, one that actually comes with a cost of $800, but a $300 cost to the resident. With $100 of each of those machines, of the 50 machines, would be covered off by the town, with the remainder being looked after either by the the Food Cycle Science organization, or else I believe it's Impact Canada, which has another cost that they would associate with that. One of the things that this program offers to the citizens is for those that are truly committed to doing and recycling food waste, is it also prevents the town from having to consider an organic charge on using a widespread program, let's say from GFL. Those programs would then put a cost of approximately $8 per household per month. And that would even go to those that don't use the program, because it would have to be a base cost. This way, it allows only that cost to be borne by those that are interested in that program, and at a much reduced rate. In addition to that, because of the cost, is what administration's also, as a second recommendation, is the opportunity for homeowners that are interested is actually pay it over a period of 6 months just by providing in addition to their utility bill. So therefore, it makes it cost possible with that, depending on the unit that did. So with that, Councillor Eustachian.
All right. Can I
I'll
get
make a motion to accept this information.
Okay. Any questions?
We have other motions here that we can consider. One of them being that council direct administration to proceed with implementing the proposal to set forth by Siler Science as presented to the upset amount of $5,900, excluding GST, with funds to come from the garbage utility budget. And I think because we heard the presentation at our last meeting, we are in a position to instruct administration to proceed with this pilot project.
So Councillor Harris, would you accept a friendly amendment?
No.
Okay. Then can we vote, all in favor of accepting his information?
Can I have a recorded vote, please?
All opposed? All right. Councillor Berry, did you want to make a secondary motion?
Can I make the motion as I read it just previously? Okay, consider it made.
All right, any questions?
Recorded vote, please.
Yeah, I got a question. How long would it take to recover that $5,900 in dumpage fees?
With that, as Councillor Yushish and members of Councillor Kozak, the cost, if you went to the monthly cost, that would be attributed with no necessarily guarantee where it's going. On an annual basis, that cost would be about $110,000. So in relation to recovering, you know, at the landfill from saving that, I would say approximately be it 1 month to 2 months based on tippage fees and stuff for that volume.
Councillor Harris?
I'd just like a little bit more clarification how you came up with those figures, Mr. O'Malley, please.
In relation to which fees? Just now?
Well, the question
in-
was, how long would it take to recoup the
Well,
$5,900?
Well, when you take a look at it, if the cost of the program was $5,900, and if we went to a curbside service at roughly, that would total about $110,000 a year. I looked at it as from there and saying the total volume, I'd have to be able to, have a track record to be able to see what the actual dumping tonnage is. Then
So you're just
I was
sort of,
just basically spitballing based on if you went to a curbside cost with everybody. So I just used what your savings would be.
okay,
All right, any other questions?
like a recorded vote, please.
All right, all in favor? Opposed? All right, 9.2, newsletter update. Councillor Berry.
There is a secondary motion that goes
Oh,
along
my apologies. Yep.
along with this, so I'll make that as well. That council approve providing homeowners with the opportunity to purchase the unit of their choice that are part of the program for a maximum period of 6 months and have the payment added to their utility bill.
All right, any questions? Councillor Harris?
2, how are we going to advertise it? And what if we don't have enough homeowners who sign up?
One is that Councillor Yushish and members, Councillor Harris, one is that we would certainly put it all over, we can put it on our Voyant Alert program as well, that goes to all those that have listed in it. Our newsletter that we'll talk about here very shortly, in addition to being able to put it on our website and all of our publications to make sure that it's available. We can also put it as an insert to our utility bills saying that this is available. The option is saying is that initially, is there 50 people that are there. I believe that we did a session at the Meet the Community Night, and I believe there was 14 that had signed up, but there's been many others that have expressed interest. Is that to figure that they immediately would all be sold? Probably not. But at the same time, too, with the total investment return being fairly controlled in relation, is it may take 6 months for all of those units to be taken.
Okay, thanks.
All right. All in favor?
Recorded vote, please.
Opposed? All right, now the newsletter update.
With that, Stephanie?
Councillor Yushishin, members of council. So our newsletter, we've been getting actually a lot of positive feedback since we've been able to expand it and add lots to it. We had very few complaints come through to us or concerns. At this time, we do leave copies at the lodge, Pinecrest, do drop in, GFRC, main office, library, and at this moment we have a one-person email list. So pretty positive feedback on that so far.
Can I get a motion?
Uh,
I need the motion before the question. Councilor Malante?
For the motion there.
Okay, questions?
a motion for what?
Accept his information.
Thank you. I got this. To accept for information.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Yep, please. Thank you for that, but it wasn't sort of what had been asked. The items that I had listed here were actually things that we had spoken about in previous meetings. So with regards to the newsletter update, to my recollection, it was many of the, more so the seniors in town who were not receiving the paper copies in their, in the water bill like usual. And there was going to be a follow-up to see how we can rectify that for those individuals. If there's only, if there's only 1% email, list, how can we get that? I just think that, we don't even have a local newspaper anymore. So, there are people in town that still rely on old school communication.
Yes, thank you, Councillor Harris. Again, we have a really close relationship with the Lodge, Pinecrest, and our seniors club in town. So actually directly bringing them to that location seems to be working for the number that we've heard. Again, we haven't heard any feedback otherwise. They seem to be finding the information that way.
Okay, so if I hear any issues, should I just ask people to direct their questions to administration then?
Yes, please ask them to reach out to our Family Resource Center because we're happy to work with making
Okay.
sure that they can reach those letters in one way or another.
Sure, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
All right. Any other question? All in favor? Land use bylaw consolidation.
Is Louise?
Okay, we have not done a consolidation because we're working on the new land use bylaw. And to consolidate all of the probably 60 changes that we've made to the bylaw is very time consuming and the time's better spent on the new bylaw. All of this stuff is there. If they have any questions and can't find it, administration's here. They can give them a call and ask them. We will point them in the right direction on where to find the information. And the bylaw should be coming to council for first look in the next month or so.
With that, Louise, is just, all of the amendments that have been passed in the past, obviously in the past, they've been considered and passed over to our consultant as well, dealing with that, correct?
Absolutely. They have all of this stuff that's been passed since 2008.
Can I get a motion to accept this information?
Put
Councilor
forward the
Malante?
motion to accept for
Questions?
information.
Councilor Harris?
Where would one find the amendments? Because I've looked on the website. If you say there's 60, I should be able to type up LUB amendments or something of that, to that effect, and find them.
Councillor Harris, it wouldn't be just under amendments, because each amendment is, there's some that are done just for one lot. There's some that are rezoning for a whole area.
Yep.
There's some that have changed minor things like just wording. So as to, they should all be there. I don't control the website.
Where is
so-
there, though?
On the website.
And how would you find it?
You would probably have to look at all of the bylaws.
So with that, Mayor, pardon me, Councilor Yushish and members, Councilor Harris, with all of the amendments that we have is that we can put together a package with them and make sure that they're just put as one package under amendments to land use bylaw. Because they're, you know, they're in their past over a number of years since the original bylaw was 2006. So we're talking 18 years in dealing with that. And so you know, some are made one a year, some are two a year. So we can put a collection together and just post it as, you know, amendments too. But and this is part of the comment that was made by Louise, is the fact is that we're taking all of those and actually redesigning the bylaw in its entirety to provide, and then that'll come to the public through consultation as well to council with an overview very shortly. And all of those amendments that had been made in the past will be incorporated and considered in that draft.
Well, here's my issue.
Okay.
It's my understanding, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. O'Malley, amendments to the land use bylaw, some require a public hearing to be held, and some do not. And to my recollection, we've done several land use bylaw amendments over the last few years, and I don't recall having a public hearing with those amendments. So if I can't find what the amendments are and have been in a very succinct way, I have an issue with that.
No, Councilor Harris, I can certainly understand having an issue with that. Is there anyone in specific?
No,
that you have,
I
or just
can't
in
find
general?
them,
Okay.
and we haven't had public hearings.
Actually, in relation to a particular item that we didn't have a public hearing to?
If I can't find the land use bylaw amendment, I can't tell you whether or not we should have had. I have sent you an email, Mr. O'Malley, about this, and it's gone unanswered.
Actually, in essence, that'll actually be one of the items that I bring up in my report, is in essence in relation to that particular item that you asked for, is I'm gonna bring forward a request to council for motion to actually bring that forward in direct administration to bring a complete report to council with that at our October 23rd.
A complete report of what?
If I could.
I'm just,
Yeah. This
I mean,
is
this is
actually-
against the MGA, and it leaves, it
No,
puts the
different-
municipality at risk, Mr. O'Malley.
Yeah, actually, administration took that and had a conversation with our legal counsel. And in fact, the one in particular that I believe that you're talking about, it was a rezoning request.
No, it's just all of them. There's no nothing, it's just all of them.
You know, actually, in relation to it, so what we'll do is we'll put them together to you, but there's a difference between a land use bylaw requires public hearings.
I know.
Whereas other policies do not. And other bylaws that are just actually policies that are outside of that do not require it. If they're not part of the land use bylaw, then it doesn't need to have a public hearing. Some bylaws don't.
But a land use bylaw amendment,
Yes. In
some
relation,
require
yes,
public
actually,
hearings.
a land use bylaw amendment requires a public hearing in the land use bylaw amendment. But if it's something, let's say, for instance, you know, in relation to what your comment was, in relation to, let's say, for who, the development authority, that is not part of the land
No,
use bylaw.
no, I'm specific. Luis just
sorry.
indicated that we have done rezoning amendments for things such as rezoning,
Yeah,
and
they would have advertised and they would have public hearings.
like with us.
Yes,
When was the last one? Does anybody have any idea?
is the last one that we had, if I believe, is the rezoning of the highway commercial land where, Heartland Station is.
And that's the last 2 years ago, give or take, right?
I believe so.
And that's the
Okay.
last land use bylaw amendment we've made in 2 years?
I'd have to look and see when but anytime there's a land use bylaw amendment, we have done a rezoning. Since I have been here, every land use bylaw amendment has had a rezoning done, Councillor Harris.
And has had a public hearing.
Has had a public hearing, absolutely.
Well, from what I read in the MGA, the time that you do not require a public hearing to be held with a land use bylaw amendment is if there's grammatical errors or administration errors like that. Otherwise, there has to be a land use bylaw, or land use, or a public hearing, pardon me. So if I can't go on the website and find the amendments that we have done, what I have to do, and everybody else in the community has to do, is go through every single agenda package and find every single land use bylaw amendment that we have done. Because you cannot find them easily. I mean, I haven't been able to find them on our website, and that's unacceptable in my opinion.
And that, Councillor Harris, is what I offered, is the fact we'll put together them in the package.
Well,
We put
Mr.
them on
O'Malley,
there.
you had said
So-
that, that's why this is back on the agenda. Because, like I said, these items on the agenda were, items that you'd committed to follow up on and have not yet. So, this has been on the agenda for a month now, and so you couldn't have done that within the last month?
Okay, I think we've had enough discussion about that part. He's answered your questions.
No, he has not.
Provide a report.
When? By what date?
Actually, if you'd like, is that the motion that I'd put forward is have, and this one is specific to your email that you have brought forward, where you demanded that I respond, which of course is that administration takes direction from council as a whole, not from the individual.
Mr. O'Malley, by what date will you have the information that you just committed to?
October 23rd.
Thank you. I'll accept his information. Make a motion. Oh, no, there's also already a motion on the floor, sorry.
So, all in
Yeah.
favor? 100,000 donation for FCS Community Connections worker.
Stephanie.
Councillor Shishin, members of council, Councillor Harris, so just clarifying, for the information regarding the $100,000 donation, I believe you would be looking at the revenue line for that, which was created for our Golf Classic, Charity Golf Classic, as well as for all of our funds received through our grant portal as well.
No,
No? Okay.
that's not what it was. March of 2023, we were given 19 pages of itemized information pertaining to budget, budget information. And in there, there was a notation for a community connections, I mean, I can find it if you'd like to give me 30 seconds. Anyways, community connections, something or other, I can't remember what the last word in particular was. I had inquired about it, and the administration had indicated that it was a donation for, and I believe I even have this in an email as well, so I can provide that if necessary, that it was a donation from a company, because the donation is for $100,000 for the next 5 years. For, Mr. O'Malley?
So if I'm just trying to recollect, is that the discussion in relation to that particularly, Councillor Yushish and members of Councillor Harris, I believe the 100,000 was in there in the budget because we were looking to generate funds to have the community connections position put in place. And we were anticipating that we'd be able to offset some of that cost using community donations to do that, in addition to other uses within that budget line. But as part of our budget process this year is that position was able to be funded through the actual budget without the need for the donations for that to happen. And when we didn't have that in place is that we actually had other vacancies during the year to do that, to fill that in. So we didn't need to do the donations on that, and the line never got changed as far as its description. Councillor Yushish.
But that's not what you had said previously. You had indicated that it was a company that was making a donation to the town.
If without getting in an overall verbal debate, unless you wish, is the biggest thing with that is that the whole point was to generate donations from companies, not a company. It was from companies that offset that cost for that.
No, actually, that's incorrect. In the 19 pages that you had provided with the, budget information from last year, it indicated a $100,000 donation for 5 years. And your explanation was it was coming from a company so that we could hire a position, a community connections worker of some sort, and that position, the intention was that it was eventually going to be funded by the town or whatnot.
I don't recollect making that statement.
Oh, okay, so if I can find it,
Yep, then I'll retract and I'll take ownership of it.
and then can we get an actual explanation of it? I'm,
I believe he's explained what it currently is, regardless of what he said it was prior.
well, that's a big difference from what was said prior.
But I believe he's already explained what it is currently.
And so you don't have any,
Actually, we're waiting for you to
Okay.
come back with
no problem.
proof of the wording and.
Sure, I will provide that information that Mr. O'Malley had, provided.
All right. Don't, we did do the motion, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
You need-
sorry.
no, you need a motion, yeah.
You need a mo-
Oh, we need the motion.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, didn't we have a motion and then,
No, I think that was just
Motion?
the explanation, and I screwed up by letting you ask
Oh,
questions
sorry.
before the motion was done. So can I get a motion for information?
I'll make a motion for.
Councilor Kozak? All in favor? Meeting with Sturgeon Public School trustees and town council.
whoa,
Actually-
what
Oh,
happened?
sorry, missed one.
Disclosure.
We're
Disclosure
like
of legal
9-5.
costs. Yeah, disclosure of legal costs and FOIP,
Yeah.
sorry.
In follow-up to this, Councillor Yushishin, members of council, Councillor Harris, in relation to the disclosure of legal costs and accordance to the FOIP, is that the town has not actually reneged on its councillor privilege with that solicitor privilege. And the fact, because the category was given as a category, not individual names listed on there, is that it is just fine to list it as it is. There's no breach of FOIP.
Can I get a motion for information?
I'll make that motion.
Councilor Berry, questions?
I don't even, that doesn't even make sense. Can you re-explain that, please? Because, I'm not quite sure, Mr. O'Malley, if you received the email that I sent to the rest of council, from the Doug Horner days, but that indicate from Michael Solomon that it is in fact a waiver of privilege.
Actually, if you want, the specific response that from Councillor, or from Michael Solomon, is the town have publicly released the amount of legal fees incurred in relation to an MNP report. Doing so does not waive privilege over the MNP report itself. Further, even if privilege has been waived, which it has not, the town is not only relying on legal privilege to protect the confidentiality of the MNP report, but also closed session confidentiality grounding in section 17 of FOIP disclosure to harmful to personal privacy. So in relation to that, that is, and that comes from Michael Solomon.
Legal fees
Yeah.
fall under FOIP.
Unless, if you have just a title saying it's a report. it
No,
doesn't
legal
nec-
fees, period. I'm not only speaking about the report.
But the legal fees themselves, if you just put a category on there and basically saying investigation, that doesn't put anyone's specific name into it, and it doesn't breach FOIP on that.
Are you
So-
saying, Councilor Harris, that the cost of a legal fee is FOIPable?
What I'm saying is that under FOIP, releasing the legal fees for matters such as the harassment complaint is
But nowhere
waiving
did it
privilege.
state- Nowhere did it state harassment complaint.
Yes, it did. Yes,
It
it did.
identified report, MNP report.
I'm not only talking about the report, I'm talking about across the board, legal fees should not be disclosed.
No legal fees can be disclosed.
The subject of the legal fee cannot be disclosed.
No, that's
Particulars.
completely wrong.
Or particulars of a legal fee.
So when you note it as harassment, that is not particulars of the legal fee?
In relation to it, because it doesn't attach a name to it.
Well, when I am the one,
But you're the, if I'm correct,
You're also making the assumption that you're the only harassment claim in the town.
Is there, are there more? Because I'm a counselor and I should probably know about others.
And if I'm correct, is that, you know, and without getting too far into it, is the fact is I believe that you're the one that attributed it to you. It was just listed as a harassment.
Okay, again, I will ask then, are there other harassment complaints that, as a counselor, I don't know of?
So you're asking us to open up FOIP?
No,
And identify-
we are counselors. Do you know of any other harassment complaint that we have sought legal fees?
We are in open session. Answering that could,
Yes or no? Previous, we asked, the request was, no, point of order. Not a chance. Counselor Barry, are you doing this? You're the one who brought it up. You had, if I recall correctly, your motion, my question was, did you write it? And you said you participated in the development. So if you want me to start bringing that up too, I will.
Councillor Barry.
I think this discussion has gone on long enough. CAO O'Malley has provided
Fine, my lawyer will be in touch.
an explanation, so this.
Very good.
This is done.
Thank you.
Okay, all in favor? Or, we didn't do the motion again, did we? Oh, we did, cool. All in favor? Opposed? Okay. Now, setting a meeting with Sturgeon Public School trustees and town council.
In speaking with Shauna Warren, Superintendent of Sturgeon Public Schools, their board is undergoing changes to its committee's board roles, and that a meeting will most likely be possible in mid-November, but they will let us know when we're ready to set up a meeting.
Can I get a motion for information? Councillor Malonte,
Put forward the motion for information.
questions? Councillor Harris?
Can I have a commitment from administration to have this followed up at the 23rd of October meeting, please?
Yeah, we can follow it up, but, and like I said, is that we'll inform once they get back to us in mid.
Yeah, I'm aware of what you said, but
You bet.
sometime in November is not sufficient for me.
Okay.
All right, any other questions?
Just wanted to find out who the rep is from the Sturgeon Public School Board that we would be dealing with.
If I can, Councillor Yushish and members of Councillor Malonte, our rep is Irene Gibbons.
Thank you. And that, again, she is the elected rep for Sturgeon Public School Board.
Yes, she is.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All in favor? Total number of town employees.
Councillor Yushish and members of council, is that the town, as an operational item, comes forward with the budget each fall with that. And administration currently consists of 29 full-time permanent staff, 14 part-time employees, and 28 paid on-call firefighters.
All right. Can I get a motion to accept his information? Councillor Kozak, questions? Councillor Harris?
Can you please state those numbers again?
28 full-time permanent and 14 part-time employees, and 28 paid on-call firefighters.
So the town only has 42 employees? Is that, my math is correct?
In relation to this, is that obviously the next question is talk about the MFC, but in this, yes, that is the number.
The total number of town employees, is that including?
No, it does not include the Momentum Fitness Club,
Why?
because that was a separate question, so I'm adding it and addressing it on its own. So if you like, is that we have 30 full-time permanent and we have 21 part-time employees.
So that would be 9-8 then? Well, let's go on to 9-8 and I'll ask questions.
Well,
Okay. We've had the motion, all in favor? 9-8, Momentum Fitness, total town employees.
okay. Councillor Yushishin, members of council, the MSC has been operated by staff since its inception and currently has 8 employees, of which 1 is full-time and the remaining staff are part-time.
Okay, motion for information?
Put forward the motion for information.
questions? Counselor Harris?
When did the folks working for the fitness center become, when was it decided that they were going to become employees of the town and not privately contracted?
Is they were employees since its inception.
Yeah, but that's not how it was presented to council.
I believe that there was several different options and without the business plan in front, but because that, I believe it's been operational, if I'm correct, since 2016, 2017. So we'll have to get the exact on that.
Again, Mr. O'Malley, this has been on the agenda, an item that was to be followed up on for months now, and
But my understanding of the question is that.
when
all our
did
staff-
the Momentum
Right.
Fitness Club employees become town employees?
Okay, from its inception.
And when did that change?
It's been
Because
that
I
from
went
the
back
start.
in the emails and it was indicated that Jennifer Kobza and Darren Pazook were going to be private contractors and would be responsible for the operations of that fitness club. And those employees were not going to be, or the people working there were not going to be employees of the town.
I believe if you could provide me with a copy of that email, it'd be wonderful.
Certainly,
If you could do that. Then-
no problem.
Then administration will follow up.
Yeah, I have that.
Okay, good.
Follow up by the 23rd of October, please. I'll get that information to you by then.
Perfect.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions? All in favor? Update, request to go over debt limit.
With that, Councillor Yushishin, members of council, the mayor and the CAO met with the Minister of Municipal Affairs this past Monday, provided the minister an update on the phased approach to servicing of the south and west lands, and run water main line down the Highway 28A to ensure a complete water loop. Administration also provided minister staff significant pack of information to review, and the ministers will be getting back to us with any other questions that they have, and of course with our financial audit statements, which will come forward as presentation for the October 23rd meeting.
I get a motion to accept this information? Counselor Berry? Any questions? Counselor Harris?
So was that with Minister McIver?
Yes, it was.
And that was this last Monday?
Yes, it was.
And who attended?
Mayor Deck and myself.
And so, there was a lot of words in your statement that you just said. So has there been a date provided or an estimated date that Municipal Affairs will approve or not our request to go over our debt limit?
No, they have not provided. That's with the date.
Okay.
All right, all in favor? Proof of payment and supporting documentation regarding,
9:10.
my apologies, Riverside Condos utility repayment.
Tara?
So this happened in 2018, and the repayment of $155,838.96 was reimbursed back to Riverside Condos, which was a result of years of miscalculation of the water meter readings and their misplacement of the decimal point.
Motion to accept this information? Counselor Kozak, questions? Counselor Harris?
Thank you. The reason why this has been put on, or for follow-up, was requested follow-up, is I believe it was the end of March or beginning of, or end of February, pardon me, beginning of March meeting this year that we were discussing what the balance of our reserve fund was. And in that discussion, Mr. O'Malley, you had stated that there was that payment for the Riverside condo repayment was $500,000, actually. And so my request was that you follow up with that, and that is where did you pull that number from? Because the discussion was, the indication from you was that the $500,000 that is no longer in the reserve account was used to pay this repayment.
I said, if I'm correct in my wording, is that as I believe I said, the reserves at that time was 500,000, of which this was a portion of.
No, actually,
And
what
so
you
if it's-
said,
so-
no, that's not what you said.
that's-
I have it recorded.
And that's, and that's fine. If I stand corrected, I'll certainly, own that. But at the same time, when I get asked questions right off the start and,
Absolutely.
and asked on, spur on the spot, is I've got a million things that are going on in my mind with million different projects. And so if I come up with a number, I'm trying to do something the best in eyeball at the time. And if it's wrong, I certainly will own that, and I have no problem with that.
Well, actually,
I am human.
what you said,
Okay, Councillor Harris, we're not
no,
gonna discuss
no,
what you
I get,
said.
no. What he said was, why don't you tell, so that the public actually knows what happened, that much of the reserve money was $500,000. $500,000 was taken out to pay back the Riverside condo units.
Councillor Harris, you've made your point.
No, I have not.
You don't have proof at this point.
I have proof.
Not right here, not right now.
You want me to bring it up? Let's take a recess. I'll show you the video. You want proof? I will show proof.
If you made a mistake, you made a mistake.
That is not a mistake.
You've heard the explanation.
Oh, my
The 100,000.
goodness. Well, then I'll tell you what, I will put it on the agenda and I will bring the video that I have that Mr. O'Malley says I am
You
incorrect.
have the right to make a notice of motion.
Yep, I sure will. Thanks. Thank you.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Recorded, please.
Opposed? Proof of payment supporting documentation for the Alberta Numbered Company.
Tara?
So as mentioned, I believe it was 3 council meetings ago, the question was answered that a business within town double paid their taxes. So that was the reimbursement back to them. A number company receives a number that automatically generates by the corporate registries without choosing a descriptive name. So at this time,
I know who it is. I'm asked for a proof of payment.
so the proof of payment was in the payables back 3 meetings ago.
No, all it was to
Okay,
check.
Sorry, no questions yet. We haven't done the motion.
Okay.
Councillor,
I do want to make a comment.
Oh, I need a motion.
we need a
to-
motion first. Motion to accept this information?
I'll do the motion to accept for information.
All right. Question?
No?
Okay, Councillor Malante?
This is just a comment with the decorum of what's going on today. I noticed there's a bit of yelling going back and forth. I do want to direct code of conduct that we go through the chair. Thank you.
Councillor Harris?
In my request, and I mean no disrespect to you, madam, I simply asked for a proof of payment, meaning a receipt, and any supporting documentation. I realized that the check was written already and who it was written to. So if you can't provide that, then I will follow up by other means. How's that?
We're good.
All right.
We're good.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All in favor? Strategic planning, potential dates.
Councillor Yushish and members of council, is administration in contact with a few firms that will work with the municipality, and we're just actually putting together the terms of reference, and administration's looking near the end of November for that, and so for council to check their calendars as to when they're available and provide administration with that timeline.
I have a motion to accept this information. Councillor Kozak, questions?
Can you you want us to provide dates for a timeline to provide it?
Near the end of November when council is available. So when I'm working with consultants, I can give them a timeline so they can check their schedules and make sure they're available.
So could we maybe be a little bit more specific on, like, say from the beginning of the second week of November to the first week in December for availability, like a specific?
I would say probably that would work fine. Sure.
You know what I mean? I mean,
Yep. Let's go from the middle of November until the middle of December.
sure. Thank you.
And I've got a question. How many days are we looking at?
Is from that, I would say 2 days.
Weekdays only?
It could be a combination.
Okay. All right. All in favor?
I think I'm allowed to, the accessibility to the live stream link, can I make a motion to remove that because it's been taken care of? I did notice that it was, on the,
We're allowed to do that?
yeah, can I make a motion? How do I do that? Can I make a motion to delete item 9.14?
Yep.
Is that what I do? Okay, I'll make a motion to delete 9.14, the accessibility to live stream link.
All right. I'm assuming no questions. All in favor? Pickleball stairs.
Curtis.
Councilor Yusishin, members of council, pickleball stairs over at the tennis court area there at Poplar Park. Now, the issue with the stairs going in there is this is the town's reservoir for all the drinking water for the entire town. So we can't just attach any kind of specific staircase to the tennis courts, unfortunately. We cannot tie in, tap in for anything for concrete anchors, stuff like that, as it might affect and disrupt that essential service that we provide. There are some precast steps that we do have on order, and they're projected to be installed and in place by the end of October. I'm just waiting on a final date of when that is, but should be by the end of October for sure, we're looking at.
Get a
I'll make a
motion?
motion to accept as information.
Okay, questions?
Yeah, thank you. From what I understand, it's from the ground to the first step that's high, right? Is that people need a ladder to get to the first step? From what I mean, I've had a couple of people ask me about it, so.
Yeah, I went out there and measured the site myself. This first step, it depends on which entrance you're going in, but the minimum step in is about 15 inches, and the maximum step, depending on which gate, was to 20 inches.
Holy cow.
Yeah, keeping in mind, this has been that way since the reservoir was put in place, so it is a bit of a process to understand with that there.
Okay, thanks. Thank you for looking into it.
All right, any other questions? All in favor? Town staff residential work.
Eric.
Councilor Lucien, members of council, if we could get the person, the resident, to contact me and give me date, time, and what equipment was used. We do various things for various people around town. People come and ask to buy gravel, we sell it at cost and charge them a delivery charge. So we do various things. We help people remove snow, we charge them for that. So I have to know dates and times and what the equipment was, so I can make sure that it was done correctly.
Motion to accept this information? Or for
I'll put forward the motion for information.
questions? Councilor Harris?
I believe when I put this on the agenda, I added photographs as well on 2 different days. I was sent photographs of town staff working. It was one property, the property on the southeast corner of the 3-way stop.
Councilor Harris, I have not seen any photos of people working there at all, so.
I emailed them to administration with my question.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either.
I'm sure I
So-
sent it to you.
Okay,
I'd have to double check, but I don't recall seeing them, sorry.
if you have the email, would you be able to resend it?
Certainly.
Sure, thanks.
All right. And then can we get a response for the next meeting?
Yep.
Yes, you can get a response next meeting.
Thank you.
All right, all in favor? Homestead land developments.
Councilor Yushishin, members of council, Homestead Land Developments, as council is aware, is administration's working with representatives, Homestead Land Developments and Land Recs to put together deals on the land swap sale and transactions. And once the details have been agreed upon, they will come forward to council, as this was in follow-up to the update that was provided in closed session on the July 24th council meeting. Knowing that this is a multi-party negotiation with several moving parts, it takes time to finalize, and any specifics regarding the negotiations can only be provided in a closed session.
All right. Motion to accept this information? Councilor Berry. Questions? Councilor Harris.
Thank you, Mr. O'Malley, but that wasn't the information that I was looking for. I've requested repeatedly to know who the owner of Homestead Land Development. Larry Andrews is the owner of Landrex. Who owns Homestead Developments?
In relation to the company, in doing so, is that information that was in consultation with our legal says that, one is that it's not privy for me to be able to announce that, because they're registered as a company, and in order to get that is that you would have to go through registries in order to get that.
So for 10 years plus, I've been on council since 2013, and Homestead Developments has never had a person connected with it. When I pulled the land titles for the land that we are purchasing, the address came up to the Putnam Law Building in Mornville. I again asked, who owns Homestead Developments? And considering that Putnam Law is the law firm that does all of our real estate transactions, I have a concern. And I will spend the $25 and do a corporate search if necessary. If you can't give us a name.
I cannot. If you want to do a FOIP request, you can certainly do so, but otherwise I can't provide that.
May I ask why we can know that Larry Andrews owns Landrex and we don't know the owner of Homestead?
Because he's made himself known in relation to that. He's done that.
I have searched
Sorry.
for Homestead Land Developments and there is nothing on the internet.
Councilor Harris, you've already identified that you could do the search yourself.
Oh my
I'd recommend
goodness
you do so.
gracious. I will bring back the corporate search for the next meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
All in favor? All right, new business, appointment of assessor.
Good morning, Councilor Yushishin and members of council. So on October 1st, administration was made aware by email the following. It is with great sadness that I inform you that Dan Kanuka passed away at the U of A Hospital on Friday, September 27th, 2024. To ensure there are no service interruptions, your municipality, a new assessor needs to be appointed. Moving forward, I, Travis Horn, will take over these responsibilities. There are 2 steps to officially changing your appointed assessor. 1, council must change the appointment, may require a bylaw amendment, and 2, Milenet, must be updated. So administration is asking for the recommendation that council appoint municipal assessor to Travis Horn, a municipal assessment services group, for the remainder of the 2024 tax year.
Can I get a motion? Councilor Berry?
I'll move that council appoint the municipal assessor as Travis Horn of Municipal Assessment Services Group for the remainder of the 2024 tax year.
Questions? Councilor Harris?
Do we need a bylaw amendment?
Yes,
Okay, well, how can we approve him without doing the amendment?
because as far as we're doing that is the fact that you don't have to do a public hearing in relation to this one. Is that if it would actually, if it's a bylaw or is just a policy, because I believe it's a motion of council that approves. It's a motion of council that approves who the assessor is.
And then a separate item
When
on
we
the council
do-
meeting regarding the bylaw?
When we we can bring forward, once this is done, then we'll bring forward an amendment to the bylaw for the taxation. Because it's actually the tax rate bylaw that we identify who the assessor in is as well. But this is a first step.
Okay. Any other questions? All in favor? Oh,
Yeah, no, actually I do. Do you mind me asking where you just got that information that you read out?
I had it in my council package.
Okay, but who drafted that? Because in the council package, if that's what you just read that said may need a bylaw,
Is the first off,
Amendment.
first off you appoint, and then we'll bring it forward with the bylaw.
Councillor Harris, I read that, if you look on the package, the email portion was in italics, as were those 2 points. I believe that was a comment from Mr.
Travis
Horn.
Horn, yes.
So he was asked, or he was stating, may need a bylaw amendment.
And that would be the taxation rate bylaw that we bring forward at a future meeting once he's appointed this way. And we need a motion of that first.
so the italics right here that says council must change it, I just want to make sure that we're not in any, type of risk situation if we approve it and don't have an amendment to a bylaw if we're supposed to.
We'll have the
So, in the background on that, it states the town of Gibbons, as indicated above, needs to appoint a replacement assessor for the remainder of the 2024 tax year. And at the organizational meeting on October 23rd, 2024, the council would then appoint an assessor for the 2025 year.
Right.
Okay,
So this is just actually to last until the next meeting, which is our organizational meeting. So it's a motion to do this.
oh, okay, you can understand the confusion.
Yes, I understand.
Right, so, and we're certain that this is, I don't know, I just don't want to vote in favor of something if it's procedurally incorrect.
No, we're good.
Okay, I'd like a recorded vote, please.
All in favor? Opposed? All right, nothing there. Staff reports.
Stephanie?
Councilor Yushishin, members of council. Our seniors almost Christmas dinner tickets went on sale October 7th. Always get lots of calls way in advance, so typically sells out. We're excited to get those on sale again. Our youth center is remaining very busy with a full calendar of events available. Some upcoming events are the Mayor's Luncheon, the Remembrance Day Service, Hometown Weekend, and just a reminder to check our monthly newsletter on the website.
Tara?
In corporate services, the items we're currently working on is auditors finalizing our 2023 audit report, tax enforcement ongoing, and working on the 2025 operating budget.
Luis?
Councillor Yushishin, members of council. Total number of development permits issued as of September 30th are 32, 7 of which were new homes, which is pretty good for us. The latest movie did a wrap on Friday, so it's all finished. And we have not a bad turnout for the mayor's lunch. The cutoff will be early next week. That's it.
I have a question, if I may. Last meeting, we were provided with development permits, a development permit and the amendments. And I noticed in there that there was a $13,000 charge for those development permits. But on the information that was provided, it said like paid to date was 0. So, and I understand that every amendment to a development permit requires a new payment. That's correct? When I read through that development permit in particular,
Everything is paid up.
why did it say 0?
I don't know. I don't see all of those development permits.
You're the one who
because-
gave it out.
Yeah, but I didn't pull it all together. It was Susan that pulled
Yes,
it all
Susan.
together.
Yeah.
So she's the development officer.
But everything is paid up to date.
Okay, could I please get some documentation indicating that for the next, and bring it forward for the next meeting, please?
Sure.
Thank you. Noted in the minutes, please.
Curtis.
Councillor Yusishin, members of council, Public Works, tree plantings is ongoing. I will update, we have got the 533 trees planted this year as part of the 2 billion tree grant. With the exception that we have 9 more trees coming in to replace the ones that were damaged and destroyed by vandalism this year. We're starting to winterize the fire hydrants with the seasons changing. Equipment and seasonal changeovers started at the shop, and water meter changeouts as appointments are made.
Thank you.
Councilor Milante?
I'm not sure if this would go to you or if it goes to our rec center side, but I know we talked about that basketball court turning into a skating rink during the winter season. I don't know if there's any plans to do that or if there's any thoughts behind that.
Stephanie.
Councilor Malante, so yes, that we do have the ability to take those basketball nets down, surround them, and flood that for a rink. So as long as our staffing and weather cooperates, that is definitely a possibility to
Just
so.
with some of the citizens that I'm speaking with, they're asking for a safer rink, and obviously that rink wouldn't be used for hockey. So those are some of the things that came up. Thank you.
Councilor Berry?
I'm just curious how many of those new homes that are being built are in Heartland Meadows? Not Meadows? Heartland. Have I-
I'm not exactly sure. I think probably most of them, I know 2 of them are down the street here, so probably about 5 of them.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess 5 of them are.
Yes.
Yep.
It's coming, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Well, the sign on the highway says there's 12, so
12.
probably there's less than 12 now.
Yeah, should probably change the number.
Yeah. Not my sign.
Thank you.
Eric, Fire Department.
Councilor Yusishin, members of council, so the current membership is at 28. I have 2 on leave of absence. One is military gone away, and one she's due to have a baby within the next 2 weeks. Calls to date, there's 122 went up, and county calls are 152. The new fire truck, we sent it back to Red Deer because there were certain things we weren't happy with. We were picking it right apart because we weren't happy. There was little scratches in the paint that they put on, and if I pay that much for a truck, I want it perfect because the town deserves perfect. So it's back there, and it should be back hopefully this weekend or the weekend after. So, and I can go right into projects. The cottage subdivision is on hold till further notice. Memorial Park, we're waiting on that. Heartland Station, Loblaws should be being paved tomorrow, the parking lot. Estimated opening is a little earlier now. I'm gonna say the 1st of December, even though they said a little earlier, but I figure between the last 2 weeks of November to the first week of December, it should be open. Traffic lights on 28A. Let me tell you, nightmares with Alberta Transportation. So, the lights are up, they're working, they're powered. So now the contractor has to meet with Alberta Transportation. They have to go through a whole systematic thing. Alberta Transportation has to give the check mark. Then for some reason, they said 2 weeks, but I can't see it, it has to go flashing orange to warn people, and then they will let the lights come on fully. So it's all in Alberta Transportation's hands, meeting with the contractor. The 3 new tenants announced, there's a daycare going in, a Barbarito, and a cannabis store. And then the other ones, the developer's looking to see if he can't find something really good for those ones, so. And I told you about the parking lot.
Thank you. Motion is.
And can I get a motion to accept this information?
I'll make the motion. I have a question, however.
Any questions?
I'm just out of curiosity, thank you, Mr. Lowe, for your information. My question, however, is that this normally, or previously, was information that was provided by the CAO. So, number one, does the CAO have report to council to provide for your activities over the last month?
My activities over the last month.
Well, you would be typically, prior to the hiring of an assistant CAO, you would be the one providing the updates on the projects, et cetera. And so there's nothing indicating what you've been up to.
Yeah, actually, usually in my key meetings and everything like that, which Chris, my executive assistant, puts together with that, is that I've been meeting with our developers, meeting with obviously municipal affairs, putting together different projects as far as meeting with, let's say, other prospective businesses coming, which are, I can't talk publicly about them yet, but we have two major ones that we're working with, and details associated with that, and deals, so ongoing, it varies from day to day, but those major aspects of putting that in together. So
Okay, so who do I ask a question to regarding this? Mr. Lowe or you?
Me.
Okay, Mr. Chair, can I have an explanation as to why the cottage project is on hold?
It's Councillor Yushishin, members of council, is obviously is we're working with the minister in any type of debt service extension. And of course, part of that was in dealing with the funding of that project. And so if the funding's not in place, is that we're not moving forward with it until such time as it is. That's where it's at. Getting dried.
When was it actually put on hold officially?
I would say is that once we've heard back,
Like when was the decision to put it on hold made? Because we've approved, funding for it and,
well, I believe it's, if I'm correct, the approval was based on securing funding, that it would move forward. And so we haven't secured funding, so it's not moving forward until such time. And that was part of the approval.
okay, I don't recall that part of the,
We can go back to the reports and actually where it actually has the recommendation, we can bring that forward as the next meeting as well.
thank you.
Okay?
All in favor? All right, council reports. Let's start with Councilor Malante.
Sure. I'll start September 11th. Attended the Sturgeon Fire Awards, and it was a really good event. We had a few Gibbons firefighters who've actually been around for quite some time and received prestigious awards for their time in service. September 19, attended the Alberta Industrial Heartland Conference. September 25th, attended the AB Munis Conference. And then October 5, attended the Bruderheim event from the mayor. Thank you.
Councilor Berry?
Excuse me, September 19th, I attended the Homeland Housing Board meeting, and there is still, it's an ongoing topic, the building of the project on Thomas Street in St. Albert. Everything is in place, and they're waiting on sign-off on funding from the province. So it's almost there. It's a huge project with lease space for businesses on the bottom floor, and then the upper, I can't remember how many floors, it's either 4 or 6, will be for housing of various types, some low income, some market, some subsidized, that kind of thing. So it's a massive project. On September the 23rd, I attended the Northern Lights Policy Committee meeting. And my role on that committee meeting is to maintain grammar, commas, proper sentences. You can tell I used to be a teacher and I'm an English major, so that's what I provide for them. On September the 25th to 27th, I attended AB Munis in Red Deer. And October 3rd and 4th, I attended the Stronger Together Library Conference in Edmonton. Since I'm on Northern Lights Library System Board as well as our Gibbons Library Board, I felt it's important that I understand my role a little better. It was a good conference. That's it.
as per the findings from a harassment complaint lodged against me and the sanctions imposed as a result, I have not attended anything, any committees.
September 11th, the Long-Term Service Awards. September 13th, Aero Utilities Board Meeting. September 19th, Alberta Industrial Heartland Conference. September 25th to 27th, the Alberta Municipalities Conference. September 30th had the Aero Utilities signing Enoch as a new customer for the wastewater plant, which will secure our rates for a while now.
All right, and for me, on September 11th, I attended the Long-Term Service Awards for Sturgeon Fire. September 19th, I attended the Alberta Industrial Heartland Stakeholder Event. From the 25th to the 27th, I attended AB Munis. And on October 4th, I attended the Edmonton Global Shareholders Zoom meeting. Can I get a motion to accept this information? Councilor Malante,
Motion to accept as information, thank you.
all in favor?
Excuse me, Counselor Yusishin, we didn't get a vote on the administration report. Counselor Harris put forward the motion, but then we didn't get a vote on that. If we
Oh,
can
my apologies.
go back.
Yep.
Thank you.
So we've got the motion to accept the administration information reports. We just haven't voted on that. All right. So with that motion, all in favor?
Oh, so we had the motion, we didn't.
Apparently we didn't vote. All right, committee reports, and with that, can I get a motion for us to go into closed session?
Can I, before we do that, can I ask for a 10-minute recess, if possible?
What I've got for closed will
Sure.
literally
If
take
it's gonna be
about 2
quick, no
minutes.
problem.
It's gonna be very quick. Yeah. All right, all in favor? All right. All right, can I get a motion to come out of closed session? Councilor Malante,
Motion to come out of closed session.
all in favor? And a motion for information on 16.1.
I'll make that motion.
Councilor Kozak, all in favor? Meeting adjourned.